Blue Triangle Rainham code BE, Unit 3C at Denver Trading Estate, Ferry Lane. In 2007, the TfL operations of Blue Triangle was sold to Go Ahead on the 29th of June. This included the depot routes 66, 248, 347, 362, 372, 474 and 648, plus contracts for Essex 5, 8B, 8C and the 101. These are all evenings. 232 on Sundays, the 256 on Tuesday, Friday and Saturday and score route 804, and in Thurrock route 11, and special services 339 and 381. Buses TL 901 to 915, 917 to 923, SO 1 to 5, DP 189 to 209, DE 210 to 212, plus M 271 468 695, 801 809 981 1200 and T 1101 for rail replacement work. DN 181 to 188, TPL 94 to 928 remained with Roger Wright, along with the Heritage Fleet, a mix of DMM, RM, RCL, RMA, RML, RT, RTW, T and Volvo Elsa V3, plus other types returned operational. Part of the deal was that Rainham and the Blue Triangle identity could be used for up to a year. A new operation was set up called the London Bus Company. DN 181, 182, 188 and TPL 95 to 927 were loaned back to Go Ahead. TPL 94 and 928 might have been, but only until July. 10 metre pointer ones LDP 51 and 56 intended for the event in Purfleet, along with trainer NV116 were transferred to Rainham in July. The LDPs were intended to release other darts for frequency increase to the 372, but this kept getting deferred. An arson attack on TPL 97 on the 23rd of August and RTA involving TL 907 on the 25th of August resulted in Trident's PDL 1 and 2 being loaned from Stockwell. Go Ahead had purchased Stockton's buses in September 2006. They operated the 167, 368 and 549 from a depot in Factory Road, Silvertown. They took over the W19 in November. In September, LDP 68, A pointer 1 and 102, A pointer 2 were transferred to Rainham. The 372 frequency increase took place on the 6th of October. DN 182 and 188 had been returned to Roger Wright, the London Bus Company, by the end of October. And I don't know what happened to DN 181. The YEMS and the T1101 were sold back to Roger Wright, the London Bus Company, by the end of October. They were rarely used as Go Ahead could cover rail replacements, initially of PVL and WVL from other parts of Go Ahead, plus an allocation of NV was gathered at Rainham for this. From the 3rd of November, the garage code for Rainham changed from FL to BE. I think BA is the first and last letters of Blue Triangle. This is the shadow code used by TfL. Blue Triangle had already been awarded the 364 and Go Ahead took over on this date. A further 15 10.8 metre E200 dart were added, but now numbered in the Go Ahead series as SC 21 to 35. DE 210 to 212 were renumbered SE 18 to 20. Go Ahead also did a route swap. The 368 moved from Silvertown to Rainham, along with 10.5 metre ED 128, and the 474 from Rainham to Silvertown, along with TL 911 to 915, 917 to 923, TPL 926 and PDLs 1 and 2. SO 1 to 5 remained at Rainham and were switched to the 248. The 474 became a 24-hour route from this date, and the code for Silvertown changed from D to SI. In 2008, the loaning of buses between Rainham and Silvertown became a regular occurrence. TPL 97 returned to service in March in Blue Triangle livery. A new bus SE36YN08DMY entered service on the 347 from the 11th of April. TL 907 returned to service in early June. New route 425 started on the 5th of July. It was operated by Go Ahead Docklands at Silvertown until the planned allocation of 10.8 metre Scania N230 UD Omni-City arrived, SOC 1 to 9. PDLs 3 and 4 were loaned from Stockwell, along with Metrolines TPL 243, 244, 245, 261, 262, 265. These are being used as iBus cover. So first loan TN to Stockwell to cover the loaned loans, so to speak. On Monday the 8th of July, new Route 375 started using an LDP, usually 68, from Rainham. This covered the withdrawal of the 500 at the Romford end. It was a temporary contract to assess usage. LDP 57 and PDL 5 were loaned in July. LDP 57 was usually at Silvertown. Loaning of buses meant that SO 1 to 5 had all been used on the 425 by mid-July. With the introduction of the low emission zone, the use of units 1 to 4 at the Northfleet Industrial Estate by a London bus company became essential, and the use of the Blue Triangle name on the Heritage fleet was discontinued, and this was part of the sale agreement. SOC1 entered service on the 425 from the 6th of August, but clearance problems saw them switch to the 474 from the 7th of August. The problem on the 425 was resolved from the 4th of September. TPL 245, 261, 262 and 265 returned to Mesh Line on the 5th of August, and TPL 243 and 244 on the 13th of August. But TP 48 to 51 were loaned to Silvertown instead from approximately the 7th of August through to the 22nd of August. Some are started to return on the 18th of August. Route 10 saw the 248 lost to East London from the 27th of September. TL 901 to 909, 911 and 913 were sold to dealers Ensign Bus. PDL 1 to 5 returned to Stockwell, but PDL 2 returned in October. TL 912, 914, 915 and 917 were also loaned to Stockwell as iBus cover. They went to Ensign Bus in November. This left at TL 910, 918 to 93 and loaned TPL 925 to 927. And as I said, I don't know when DN 181 was returned. At this point, the only double-deck allocation at Rainham was the NV for rail replacement work. All the low-floor double-deckers were at Silvertown. A start was made on replacing the TL and TPL with PVL from Bexley Heath and Sutton in December. In 2009, the continued introduction of new DOE at Sutton during January saw PVL move to Stockwell and PDL move to Rainham for rail replacement work and loaned to Aviva's iBus cover, and I think this was Dartford and maybe Grays. Others went to Silvertown, but not only did TL go to Ensign Bus, but PDL disposal started as well. The last of the Blue Triangle TL left in February, leaving TPL 95 to 97. TPL 96 and 97 left in March. They ended up with Sullivan buses via dealers Ensign Bus. The 372 was lost to East London from the 28th of March, and Steel single door DP 189 to 191 moved to Silvertown for a new contract serving the future Olympic Park, but they were disposed of via Ensign Bus in November. With the loss of the 35 and 40 from 2nd of May, AVL 1 to 19 moved to Rainham for storage, but they were available for rail replacement work. They were returned off lease during July. The last PDL was withdrawn from service at Stockwell at the end of July, and the ones parked up at Rainham started to be disposed of as well. The 375 was lost to Aviva from the 4th of July. TPL 95 was transferred to Sutton in September for use on School Route 669, operated on behalf of Surrey County Council. The operations of East Thames buses were acquired by Go Ahead for the night of the 2nd to 3rd of October. In 2010, the contract for the 24-hour Route 369 was ordered to Go Ahead Blue Triangle from the night of the 19th to 20th of February. As part of the new contract, it was rerouted in Barking, renumbered EL1 and rebranded as East London Transit. They also operated the new EL2, which covered the same route as the EL1, but continued to Dagenham Dock Station. This route didn't have an all-night service. 16 new 10.4 metre Volvo B90L with right bus Eclipse Gemini 2 bodywork were acquired. WVL 334 to 349 carrying a dedicated livery of red with autumn colour swoops on the sides. From February through to August, the NV were replaced by PVL. The 66 was lost to Aviva under route ending from the 4th of September. The DP was sent away to Plymouth City Bus for refurbishment, ahead of going to Stockwell for a new contract for the 170. DP192, the only bus to have a centre exit fitted, ended up at New Cross. Score routes 659, 673 and 674 were awarded starting the 16th of October. The 674 was operated from Rainham with PVL. The 673 went to Silvertown, as did the 659, except it operated as the 150, as it was effectively a short route working on this route, which was otherwise operated by Arriva. In 2011, school routes 649, 650 and 651 were taken over from the first day of term in January. All were operated from Rainham and the PVL allocation was increased. The 368 was lost to First London from the 26th of March. ED 128 was sent away for refurbishment. A couple were allocated to Silvertown to cover frequency increase to the 300. The rest went to New Cross for the 129, which Go Ahead was due to take over in June. Go Ahead put in a successful bid for the 276, 376, D6, D7 and D8 starting in September. All except the 376 would operate from Silvertown. The W19 moved to Rainham from the 14th of May, along with 9.2 metre ED 9 to 17, followed on the 25th of June by the 167 with 10.4 metre ED 18 to 28. The 648 was lost to First London from the 3rd of September. The contracts for the 276, 376, D6, D7 and D8 started on the 17th of September. New 10.8 metre SE 98 to 103 were allocated to Rainham for the 376. The 300 also moved from Silvertown to Rainham along with ED 5 and 6 and 10.2 metre SE 37 to 46. In 2012, the contracts for the 20 and 462 were awarded to Go Ahead Blue Triangle starting the 24th of March. New WVL 457 to 467 were allocated for the 20 and 9 8.8 metre white bus street light for the 462. WS 1 to 9. The first London operations at Northumberland Park were acquired by Go Ahead on the 31st of March. In 2013, temporary route 573 was introduced on the 6th of April. Although Silvertown received LDP 191 to 196 from Merton, DP 208 was transferred from Rainham on the 17th of April and then became the regular on the route. Its regular allocation on 347 was covered by an SE. Temporary route 574 was introduced on the 15th of June. This one was operated from Rainham with SE 104 and 105. First sold all their London operations on the 22nd of June. Most went to Metroline, with Tower Transit taking over Lee Interchange and Westbourne Park. This left Dagenham, which continued to operate the 165, 179, 252 and 365 until the routes were lost in September. This left the 193, 368, 498, 608, 646, 648, 652, 656, 667, 679 and 686, along with some of the vehicles which were sold to Go Ahead and transferred to Rainham. The vehicles were renumbered into their own series which had been adopted when Northumberland Park had been acquired. So EN 25 to 27 were DN 33501 to 503. These were E400s. DMN 2 to 6 were DML 41427 to 431. These were 10.2 metre SLS with Marshall Capital bodywork. DMN 7 to 18 were DMS 41475 to 486, and these were 8.9 metre Marshall Capital with on Dart DLS SLS. SN 30 to 37 were DMV 44271 to 278, and these were 10.8 metre Enviro 200 darts. The school routes were covered by transferring PVN 7 to 17 from Northumberland Park and WVL from Camberwell and Merton. The operation of the 20 was transferred from Rainham to Northumberland Park, along with WVL 457 to 467. The 425 at Silvertown was lost under route tendering to what was now Tower Transit from the 6th of July. The 574 was transferred to Rain to Silvertown, but DP 208 returned and resumed its regular duties on the 347. LDP 208, not to be confused with DP 208, was transferred into Rainham to cover an extra journey on the W19 during Monday to Friday peak hours, which was added on the 2nd of September. Temporary route 541 was reinstated from the 14th of September, this time operated by Go Ahead from Silvertown. So this had been operated by Stagecoach. The 574 moved back to Rainham. MDL1 YJ60 GGE, a 10.3 metre VDL SB180 with MCV Evolution bodywork entered service at Rainham from the 30th of September. It was listed as a loan but remained until 2019. It was usually found on the 347 or 648. DP208 was switched to the 364. The 573 and 574 were withdrawn after operation on Saturday the 5th of October. In 2014, 143, an 8.9 metre .SLF with Marshall Capital bodywork, was transferred into Rainham from the 22nd of February. This came via Metrobus after the first sold their Orpington operations in December 2007, so it was renumbered into the Metrobus series. It moved to Plough Lane for special service on the 424 on the 14th of July. The loss of the 261 at Orpington the previous year resulted in Scania Omnidecker 944 to 946 being transferred to Silvertown. These were the same model as SO1 to 5. The loaning of buses meant that 945 was used at Rainham from the 4th of March, returned to Silvertown on the 22nd of March. From the 1st of April, the management of all TfL operations by Metrobus were assumed by Go Ahead London. The contracts for the 54 and 75 were lost by Metrobus under route tendering from the 27th of April to 75 and 4th of May 54, resulting in 30 redundant 10.8 metre Scania N230 UD with Optet Olympus bodywork 870 to 899. Of these, 870 to 896 were transferred to Silvertown, who got 870 and 871, and Rainham, who got 872 to 896. The loaning of buses made the allocations theoretical. 872 and 874 entered service on the 15th of May. All except 884 and 895 were in use by the 23rd of May. 895 followed on the 6th of June, and apart from what might have been a login, 884 wasn't used until the 3rd of September. They replaced the PVN and early model Volvo B70L WVL. The frequency of the W19 was increased on the 21st of June. This was covered by ex-East Thames Buses Cadets DW11 and 12, spare following the loss of the 201 at Merton. The Monday to Saturday daytime frequency of the EL1 and EL2 was increased on the 30th of August. WVL 451 to 453 were transferred in from Silvertown. They were covered by older WVL until the 453 was converted to LT in October. This released E to Camberwell, who sent newer WVL to Silvertown. In 2015, some of the second-hand 8.9 metre Enviro 200 dart were acquired. These were London United or whoever it was, whoever they took over, NCP. SEN 39 to 43 eventually ended up at Stockwell, but SEN 38 SK07HLO became a fixture on the 193 from the 17th of April. 9.6 metre SE232 to 234 arrived in March. These were for the frequency increase of the W19 introduced the previous year. DW11 and 12 were withdrawn in June. The 498 was lost to Stagecoach for the 27th of June. EN27 was transferred to Northumberland Park. EN25 and 26 were switched to the 652, 656 and 686. It was Scania 879, 882 that left, going to Croydon to convert the 293 to double deck. The single deckers on the 293 moved to Orpington for the 358. And there was always a small group of LDP, and this was reduced to just LDP 191 from the 11th of July. The 347 was lost to Arrive from the 17th of October. After a brief spell on the 376, MDL1 was kept on the 648. The 541 was withdrawn after operation on the 30th of October. SO1 to 5 moved back to Silvertown. In 2016, the LDP allocation consisted of 191 and 198. EN25 and 26 left for Bexley Heath in February. DP208 remained in service until the 24th of March, and then it went. The 541 operated again to 15th and 19th of February. Enviro 400 were transferred from Camberwell, who are getting new LT for the 68. Some E were retained because the 147 was due to be taken over in May. The 541 ran again over Easter 25th to 28th of March, but being the school holidays, the Scania were used. The EL2 was rerouted to Becontree Heath from 19th of March. The EL1 also had a frequency increase to cover the Ilford section. WVL 468 to 480 were transferred from Stockwell. They were replaced by PVL spare from the conversion of the 155 to WH3 at Merton. The 368 was lost to a review from the 30th of April. The SEN refurbished with a contract renewal of the 39, but they took over school route 687, which had a morning journey added. Go Ahead Blue Triangle opened a new garage in River Road, Barking, RR. Its first route was the 147, which they took over on the 7th of May using Enviro 400. The temporary 541 ran for the final time from the 17th to 20th of June. It was operated from Rainham with E loaned from River Road. From the 2nd of July, all operations at Rainham were transferred to River Road. The area has since been redeveloped, now occupied by a distribution centre. There is also a new road called Steel Approach, which has been built through part of the site, and the source is various lots newsletters, plus searches on London Vehicle Finder. So, this is the site in August 2015, and this brown building is the site of the depot. So the depot yard is on the other side, and if we go up to the modern day, this is what it looks like now. And UK aerial photos, so this is from 2013. So this is the brown building and this is the yard on the other side. This is the stagecoach depot. This triangle here is used by Arriva for sightseeing buses, and I think this part is also part of the Go Ahead depot, and this is staff car parking. You can see there are also buses as well. Now I can't post this in the description below the video because it is too long, and what I'll do is I'll also have a look at Flickr images, because there's more than one location used at Rainham, at least 3 locations, and I'll put those in a separate video so you can look at images, and hopefully I can identify the locations. I think I can identify the sites using aerial images, and I'll put links to this and this in the description below the video. And I don't know what order you'll watch things in, but there should be at least 3 videos. The original Blue Triangle build up to 2007, this one, and then a look at Flickr images, and maybe a 4th video to look at aerial photos. I'm not sure, but there'll be at least 3 videos.